episodes as opposed to monthly in case I miss a day. And let's say I miss like 3 weeks of Guess the Connection. Can't really have somebody win consecutive episodes, even though they're a month apart. Can't do it. So, 4 episodes before you can guess again. Speaking of guessing again, I've got 6 songs I'm about to play for. The winner this time is going to get a really cool set of Star Trek paper clips. It sounds silly, doesn't it? Star Trek paper clips. No, they're paper clips shaped like Starfleet space, like the Enterprise, maybe the Valiant. We were trying to figure them out before the show. Comes in a really cool space station tin. Sounds like that. You're also going to get an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Coulson, um, EFX collectible, and a Loot Anime phone charm that's got some anime character in there that I will never in a million years be able to recognize. It's so quiet without the music. Jeez. So we better get things started here. Again, you can use any tool you want to help figure out what these songs are. There's one connection I'm looking for and one connection only. And if you get the right answer, if you submit your guess over there at coverville.com/GTC, I will pick a winner at random next week, Thursday, to decide who gets the prizes. If you're ready to go, I'm ready to go. Let's start with this one.
Hi, Phil.
Good luck, everybody. See you on the other side.
I did not actually expect anybody to to join in. It just was like, I'll just turn this on and I'll listen to Coverville while I'm attaching handles and, go snag some of the video later. But pleasantly surprising. Yeah, exactly. Like listening to Coverville by proxy. I was like, this is completely unannounced, completely just like jumping on here. Nobody's gonna pop on with me. And there you are, Lucky Phil. I underestimated. How's it going? I am just attaching these handles that I did not get to attach last time because I had to abruptly leave. On the way home from work, pulling into a drive-thru, attaching love handles. Yeah, I did a little of that this morning. I had a bacon, egg, and cheese bagel for breakfast this morning. It's a bit high on the old calorie counter there, but I've been in a calorie deficit for most of the week. At least my calorie counter says I have been. So I figure it's probably okay. Yay! Yeah, same. I also eat too much crap food. I didn't used to. I used to be, like, before COVID, it's actually quite thin. I have pictures. I can prove it. And then COVID happened, and we all started living in sweatpants all the time, and yeah, I just put on something like 60, 70 pounds, something like that. That was over 3 years. So I don't expect to lose it like overnight or anything, but it's okay. Oh, yes, it is well made. It is Chuck made. Chuck is, as I've said, much better at throwing than I am. So yes, this mug is a Chuck mug that I made, and I'm attaching the handle, but it's being a little bit of a pain right this moment because some of the places where I'm attaching it are a little too smudgy looking. Yeah, that happened to me. Like back in my misguided youth, I used to smoke. Um, but it's been long enough now to where I have not touched a cigarette in, gosh, 23 years. So my primary care at least tells me that effectively it's the same as if I never smoked. So that's good. But yeah, but I did put on some weight, mostly because I think I started smoking when I was a kid, like I was like 14 or something. And like statistically many kids who start smoking, my parents smoked, or rather my mom and my stepdad smoked. Um, my dad didn't, which he's endlessly proud of himself for, that that I never remember him ever smoking. That's like such a feather in his cap. And I'm like, yep, you know what? My kids don't remember me smoking either because I quit way before they existed. Um, but anyway, so yeah, that was a contributing factor to me starting smoking. I think I was thinking about this the other day. I think I've always kind of been like an addictive type person. Not that not that I am addictive to other people, but like I get addicted to things easily because like when I was a little kid, I used to suck my thumb, and it was like I was I was embarrassingly old when I stopped sucking my thumb. I was like 11, and then 3 years later, here comes smoking, and you know, and now I have a drinking habit. I would say I don't think currently it is not a problem, and I have checked in frequently with the rest of my family um, about drinking, because my husband is an alcoholic, so he does not drink, and so I'm constantly checking in with him. Yeah, see, that's the thing, is it's like I think part of it is an oral fixation, and I think that's why a lot of kids who do suck their thumbs end up doing things like smoking or whatever, just because it's like, and I still like chew on my pens, and like, you know, I'm constantly like, I'll sit there like this, like I'll bite the inside of my thumb like this, um, you know, just for that exact reason. It's just a kind of a stem. But anyway, I don't know. I just found that little bit of introspection interesting, that I've kind of always had a bit of an addictive type of personality. So it's a thing to watch out for. It's a thing to make sure that you keep an eye on. Okay. I think this one looks pretty good. We'll put that up by the camera there. It doesn't look too bad. There's still some little gloopy areas over here. I would like to be a bit smoother, but I think we might have too many for me to get too fussy about that. So I think I might just have to put it down and go. Move on to the next. If I get them all attached, I can always go back and smooth them out more, right? We can go and turn this up a little bit. Hold on, Yeah, chewing your knuckle. Yeah, I've seen people who do that. I used to work with a guy, interestingly, his name was Phil, but he was from the UK, who actually used to, like, as an adult, like, full on just sucking his thumb. Like, not sucking it, but just like, you know. I was like, bro. You know, I mean, I never said anything or anything, but it was just like, wow. I didn't realize that was a thing people would just do. Um, you know, no judgment. Do what you got to do. He was very smart. It was kind of funny though, because he was like, uh, he was the kind of guy who like had zero shits to give about anything, and he was extremely smart and like, but he was responsible for a good portion of the software that I was working on, and I was on customer site, and the stuff that he was responsible for kind of kept causing us issues. And the customer literally said, well, we need to get Phil over here. Like, that's just all there is to it. And, like, you know, as I say, Phil lives in the UK. And we were like, okay, that's going to be really expensive for you. I don't care. We want to get Phil over here because I want him in front of me. And I was like, you really don't. I promise. You don't want Phil to come. Like, he is crusty, he is not going to he's not going to give you the level of service that you have become accustomed to from us. He's not going to kiss your butt just because you're the customer. So they made him come over, and yeah, it was interesting. When I squeeze you, you make noise. Your best friend, it's true. Every day when I make my way to the tubby, I find a little fella who's cute and yellow and charming. Never thought I would hear. Oh, cool. No problem. You can keep listening to me babble if you want. I never thought I would hear a like a Santa Baby style Rubber Ducky cover, but here we are. Dirtiest birdie I've ever seen. Mm-hmm.
You don't have any ears. I know it's gonna tickle, but I gotta get you nice and clean. Know what I mean? Every day I make my way to the tubby,
I find a little fella who's cute, yellow, and charming. Rub-a-dub-dubby. So fine. And I'm lucky that you're mine.
I'm awfully fond of rubber ducky. I love rubber ducky. I'm awfully fond of you.
So, if anyone is interested in how I'm doing this, I'm doing what's called slipping and scoring. And, I just take my little scratchy tool and I scratch up the surface of both of the pieces that I'm trying to stick together. And then I glop them with slip. And it's a very technical term, that glopping. So yeah, I glop them with slip to make sure they're on there good. Slip is like glue. And then I just kind of press them together. The tricky part of this process is the fact that the mugs themselves are drier than the handles. So that's how you can, if you're not careful, that's how you can get cracking, because the piece that's wet is going to shrink at a different rate than the piece that's dry, i.e. it's going to shrink faster because it has more moisture in it. Losing the moisture is what causes the pieces to shrink. So if they're not the same dryness when you put them together, then you risk getting cracks. So you have to be careful. But this is really the best time to put a handle on a mug, because it's going to hold its shape nicely, even though you're dorking around with it. So like when I smush the handle into it, the piece itself doesn't smush. Watch the world fall down, domino dancing. I still didn't quite catch what the first song in this set was. Hey Jeff, I am so sorry that I missed our Friday do the thing. I was so discombobulated. I did that stream and I just completely blew off an entire meeting, which I was like, holy crap. I was like, I did not mean to do that. I'm sorry. So yeah, I emailed my boss, and I mean, everything is fine as far as I know. But yeah, that was probably not the smartest thing to do in this economy. And then I just was like, I was embarrassed and feeling like a failure of a person for the rest of the day. And then on top of it, I also forgot about our Let's Do the Thing. So, but I will say this. I missed the Let's Do the Thing because I was busy doing things. So as we sent out, we haven't sent them yet, but we have packaged and boxed up nearly 1,800 peepers. Or no, 1,800 packages of peepers. These ones they get in packages of 2. And so, yeah, over 3,000 peepers we had to ship out this week. So it was a lot of work.
Get ready.
Do you think you know the answer?
I do think I know the answer. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't checked the entire
What do all these
set list, but I think I know.
redheads?
If Jeff, you wanna try and steal my answer, see if you can win the prize. Maybe I need to Shazam this one. Because I have a theory. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm listening to, in the background here, I'm actually listening to yesterday's episode of Guess the Connection because I missed it. And of the songs that I actually recognized and knew when they came on, I have developed a theory, but I haven't Shazammed and carefully gone back and listened to all of the tracks. So I cannot confirm, but my hunch is that they're all like kids' toys. You know, because we got domino dancing, we got sand castles, because there was like Castles in the Sand by Jimi Hendrix, and Rubber Ducky. But I don't know this one. And I didn't catch what the first song was either. So, like I say, your mileage may vary on that hunch, but, you know, if you want to go back, listen to Guess the Connection and see if that helps you any and you can win it. Because I'm not eligible to win right now. I just won like a couple weeks ago. So what are you up to this morning, Jeff? Thank you to both you and Lucky Phil this morning, because like I was starting to question if I should even keep doing these. It's like I'm like freaking nobody cares that I do these. Like I only get like 2 or 3 people each live or whatever. And then I just did this unannounced, and you guys both jumped in here to say hi. So that's awesome. I'm just having a really low, like depressed kind of week, and my brain is super mean to me. So it tells me mean things that aren't true a lot of times. Well, thank you. I appreciate you being so gracious about my just whiffing on our Let's Do the Thing. I promise not to make that a habit. I will at least, if I can't make it, I will at least post ahead of time that I can't make it. Instead of just spacing on completely. Just finished your walk, visiting your mom. Oh, cool. That's cool. Yeah, my daughter just a couple days ago got back from her trip to Florida to visit her cousins, and now she's back at her dad's. We had to do Meet the Teacher Day a couple days ago. So, which went okay. She got really mad at me at one point because I told one of her teachers, like, and it was totally my fault, but I was like, I was feeling socially awkward in that moment, and so I just, to break the ice, I was like, you know, I was like, oh, you might remember my son as, you know, her older brother, and she glared at me like, Mom, seriously? We talked about this. And she's right. And I was like, I'm sorry. You're right. I know you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, I battle with it a lot. The whole mental health depression thing. I had a kind of a funny thought about
what a great
brains and how weird they are.
Again, I try to resist the urge to back it out. It's so
like my brain will tell me, you have had a really hard day. You should sit down on the couch and rest. Just chill for a little bit. Maybe watch some TV. You deserve it. You've had a hard day. So I do. I'm like, you know what, brain? You're right. I should do that. I do deserve it. And I need it, clearly. I'm very tired. You're right. I should go sit down. And then I do. I go sit down. And then my brain proceeds to go, oh my God, what a piece of shit you are. Look at all the things that you're not doing because you're sitting on the couch. What is wrong with you? And I'm like, yo, you just told me, okay, fine, I'll get up and do stuff. No. Don't feel like you need to get up. You deserve this. You need to rest. And then, rinse and repeat. That's what my brain does to me. It's really rude. It's like the narcolepsy and ADHD are just fighting it out to see who wins the day. And sometimes the motherfuckers team up and go, hey, you know what? Narcolepsy, I bet we could get her to just like sit on the couch or sit in bed all day if we talked her into, if I, ADHD, talked her into looking at TikTok for a couple minutes, and she'll be stuck looking at TikTok for hours. And then they team up and they get together and they're like, whoa, yes, that's the answer. Yeah, I've never, you've mentioned ketamine before, but I'm not really, I've heard the name, but I'm not really familiar with what it does or how it works. I am on an antidepressant that I take daily. It's, what is the name of it? I know the pharmacy name of it is duloxetine. So whatever, I think it's Cymbalta. That's what it is. Cymbalta is the brand name. So yeah. And like anything else with mental health medications, it works until it doesn't, which is frustrating, but it's just kind of the fact of life. The thing that's really daunting me right now is that I have to find a new neurologist, or rather I found one and I've made the appointment, but I have to muddle through until I get to that appointment. And then also I have to organize getting my records from my old neurologist over to the new one, which is quite daunting indeed. Ah! This place is booby trapped. Yeah. Helps with ideation and neural plasticity. Oh, that's cool. This one I just pulled out of the damp box. I haven't talked about damp boxes on here. I'll talk about damp boxes for a second. So can you see how there's little white flecks around the rim? That is because I sat these upside down in my damp box. Now a damp box, which I have right over there, it's full of stuff right now, so I'm not going to haul it over here, but it's basically just a big plastic bin. And the bottom of it is, just like a plastic bin we got like at Target or something. And we created like a plaster slab that covers the whole bottom of that box. And what that does is when you put wet pottery pieces in there, it keeps them from drying out too fast. If you leave it in there long enough, it'll still be pretty dry when you pull it out. But all I did was put this in the damp box, and it's still pretty nice and leather hard. So yeah, then tell your story all over again to the new doctor. Yeah. I call those dog washing sessions. And I'll tell you why. There's a kind of what I think is a fun story associated with the term dog washing, and it's literally just my term. Like, that's not, I don't think anybody else uses it outside of like people who know this particular gaming story. But whenever you have like a D&D style, an RPG campaign where, it's kind of a long-term thing, and then you end up having to spend time at, the newest village and just kind of wander around, look for merchants, restock your inventory, haggle with the merchants, whatever. Yeah, just everybody in the party just kind of wanders around and goes shopping. That is a dog washing gaming session, because like, what is dog washing, right? Like, you're getting your dog clean, and they're just going to get dirty all over again, so it doesn't, it's one of those things that's like, it's necessary to do, you have to do it, but it doesn't move the story forward. Like, you have to every once in a while, you have to bathe your dog, you have to wash your dog, right? But it doesn't move the story forward any. It's just, it's a thing. It's one of those cyclical things, like laundry, it'll just always come up. So yeah, so I call those sessions with doctors where you have to tell the story that you've told 16 other doctors already. I call those dog washing sessions, because it just feels like you're wasting your time and not moving the story forward. But yep. Thank you. Yeah, so again, I have to point out that these mugs are like, the mug bodies were thrown by Chuck. I did not throw these. He is much more skilled at throwing consistent size and shape, which for these particular pieces, we want them all to be, they're not going to be all the same. They're already not the same. It's like they have different style handles and whatnot on them, but as consistent as we can make them anyway, because we're making like 20 of these, I think. So yeah, he's much better at throwing consistent size and shape than I am. So he's doing the throwing, and then I'm doing the sort of the surface design and the attaching and whatnot here. See, now I have Domino Dancing stuck in my head, but my phone is really low on power, so I don't feel like I can turn on any more music unless I go upstairs and get a plug for my phone, which I really should have one of those down here anyway. I've got a freaking power strip over there. It's got a couple of extra spots in it. So yeah, I have to manage expectations, like as far as my skill as a potter. I have my strengths. Throwing consistently is currently not one of them, but I'm hoping that I will get there one day. That's the hope. I'm still trying to practice, so we'll see how it goes. So what I'm doing now that I've got the handle attached, right? And what I'm doing now is just kind of smoothing out some of these rougher edges, trying to really get the handle attached firmly, and also smooth out, these areas where I've kind of had to smoosh the clay into the other piece of clay. Get rid of some of those finger marks and just make it look like, this thing was cut out of one solid piece instead of having something else attached to it. Yeah, just make it look nice and clean. Because that's always enjoyable, right? You sit down, drink a nice hot beverage out of a mug, and you pick it up and it feels good in your hands and the surface is all nice. And the handles are nice and smooth. This one, I'm kind of carving away some of the excess clay at the bottom of this handle because it's kind of, when I cut it off before, it cut off a little unevenly. So it's kind of a mess down here. Oh, watch them all fall down. Yeah, I'm going to have to remedy that at some point. I'm just going to have to go get a charger or something for my phone, so I can put on some different music. See, this is really when I wish that I had the POV cam set up, because this would probably be much more interesting to watch if you could see the pieces of clay that I'm working on more up close. There's really no reason I have to sit down here either. Aside from the fact that I did not come back and clean up after Thursday's debacle. So shame on me. I left this studio space a mess. There's clay in the splash pans and just all kinds of stuff that I needed to clean up that I did not. For shame, for shame. Yeah, so Thursday I had to leave the stream abruptly because I realized I was missing a work meeting, like a day job meeting. Which was very embarrassing and gave me the panics. So I quickly logged off the stream and ran upstairs to do some damage control on that. I've got a new boss, and he's very fond of having meetings, and in particular, this one was a scheduled meeting that I missed. So this was literally just me spacing out. Really no excuse. But this dude also likes to just like pop up on Teams and go, "Hey, can you jump on a call real quick?" It's going to make scheduling stuff like this during the day and during the work week a little more difficult. But that's okay. I can probably just figure out a different time to do it that's after hours or what have you, so that I don't have that embarrassing thing happen again. Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, it was like a 15-minute meeting, and I don't even think I needed to be in it. Because there were like 8 people in the meeting, and it was like talking about a project charter and stuff, and I'm just like, look, I tell me what data you need and where you need it to go, and I will move it around, that is basically my job. I don't make decisions about, what the business end of things does and how operations deals with, the operators not doing what they're supposed to do, stuff like that. That's not in my skill set nor my job description. So, I kind of felt like it wasn't all that necessary for me to be there. And I think it was one of those meetings that really could have been an email. Yeah, it's a ding, ding, ding. Exactly, Phil. That's exactly right. Could have been an email. So, and he's coming to the Norcross office on Monday and wants to have lunch with me. And I'm like, oh my God, really? Do I really have to have, like, does everything have to be a meeting all the time? So, yeah, I much fear that my life is going to involve many more spontaneous and dubiously necessary meetings. Put it that way. Okay. Yeah. I guess you're right. And I mean, I'm going to get lunch out of it because I think he's buying me lunch, which is nice. But I don't know, just like having to sit with your boss while, waiting for the check to come and stuff like, like crap like that, where you're like, okay, ordinarily, if it were like a meeting, just a regular meeting, you'd be like, okay, and I think we're done. And this one, I'll be like, hey, small talk. So, and I stick to small talk. Yes, you are correct, Jeff. That is exactly right. And that's, I have gotten better about that, like feeling less intimidated by, boss type people and more like, hey, you're here for me. Help me. help me help you, I got much better about that in my 40s. Hey, Thugsy. Y'all, Thugsy's my cousin. Say hi. Thugsy, meet my friends Jeff and Lucky Phil. Lucky Phil is in Australia. And Jeff is in Tennessee somewhere. And they are my podcasty people. Hey, what up? So, yeah, I am just sitting here attaching handles to these mugs, trying to get these done. We're actually going over to the community studio later to do some glazing. And I would like to have all of these ones that we have thrown already. I would like to get them all handled up before then. We'll see if I can make that happen. I'm just going to dunk this one and see if I can reshape it a little bit, because that last one was very cracky and not nicely smooth. So I don't like it. So what are you doing this morning, Thugsy? It's not really morning here anymore. It's still morning for you, though, because you're on Central Time. Oh, watch the world fall down. Oh, a show next week. Well, that sounds fun. Oh, I need to get that song out of my head. I blame Brian Ibbett. Jeff, are you coming to the Southeast meetup? You're not, are you? Or are you? I'm not keeping track of who's signed up and whatnot. That's Chuck's job. I know, right? Damn it, Brian. I'm sticking music in my head. Very cool. That sounds like a fun show. I went to a show at the Red Light Cafe last Sunday where we saw Juliana Finch and Laser the Boy and Emily Henry. And it was wonderful. It was just delightful, and I very much enjoyed it. I bought merch. We heard good tunes. Good time was had by all. I recommend checking them out. I know you did. That's why I mentioned that that's where it was. We, in fact, commented on that. We were like, oh, the last time we came to a show here, it was to see a burlesque show that my cousin was in. Which that sounds weird when I say it like that. But but it's true. I mean, your dad was there and everything too, so it wasn't like weird. What was weird was that my kid's elementary school teacher was there, and she looked at me, and I looked at her, and she looked at me, and I looked at her. Yeah, and we both were kind of like, I won't tell if you won't. So ew. Ew, Jeff, ew. I'm just saying that's ew. That is, we don't do that here. That's Kentucky and West Virginia. Just kind of trimming away some excess clay here. Oh, it's not my, like, it just sounded weird when it came out of my face. And so I had to address it. And then, I don't know. All right, you go get ready. Break a leg or a nose or whatever clowns say to get ready. Okay. So there's a kind of a cool little trick I'm doing here. Let me move some stuff here. I can get closer and show you better what I'm doing. Here's the, I'm not using the wheel. I don't need to sit there. Ugh. Turns out a big bucket full of water is heavy. Ugh. Okay. All right. Here we go. So you'll see how that is kind of smirky, kind of messy in places. And you can kind of see my thumb marks there. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this little tool. It's so hard to get focus right. Hi, focus on me, not the thing in the background. There you go. Okay. So this little kind of rake looking thing, I'm just kind of scratching the surface here, which seems counterintuitive, but it works. This is how you can erase join marks and even just, stray marks on your clay that you don't want there. So you just scratch, and make sure you scratch over the place that you want to disappear. And then you take something with like a flat back. This has kind of a rounded curve to it. And I just take the back of that. You can use like a spoon or your thumb, whatever tool works in that moment. But you can see where I scratched it all up there. And this side, I just smoothed it back over. So it helps to kind of erase those marks on the clay that you don't want. So yeah, while Chuck is better at throwing, I have taken hand building, and so things like this, like attaching handles and carving, stuff like that. Just surface decoration in general. Right. That's what you told me that, Jeff, that you can't come to the Southeast thing because it's the summer cabin dealy. Got it. Yeah. So a lot of these little tricks and for surface design and sculpting and things like that, I learned from taking hand building. I'm a bit better than he is at those. So for this little joint project that he and I have taken on, this part of it is my job. The throwing part is his job. Sure, let's go with that. That I do the skilled detail work. I don't know, man. He made this teapot. It's like, you know, it's Avatar 1's teapot from the Legend of Korra. You know, in the Avatar Last Airbender universe, and man, that thing is amazing looking. It is really, really good. It looks like he had some kind of magic machine that just zapped the TV screen and made that teapot come to life. It is really, really well done. He did some really good detail work on that. It was really impressive. I mean, of course, the design itself is a simple design, but there is nothing simple about making a teapot. All right. I can't decide if I should I feel like I should smooth that over on the bottom. See how there's like a little, I don't know if y'all can see that. There's like a little crease almost on the bottom, like a little throw line or something. Not sure what that is, but I'm gonna smooth it off. So I don't like it. It makes it look unfinished. Ugh. I gotta find out what time we have to leave. Let me see. It's probably pretty soon, I'm guessing. Ugh! People always be messing with my stuff in Monopoly Go. I'm like, just leave me alone. I'm just here trying to build my empire. Y'all come in with your wrecking balls. Yes, I love both Aang and Korra. We recently rewatched all the way through, like one right after the other. And yeah, no, so I was excited about that movie, and then everybody just panned it so badly and said it was so awful that I'll confess I've never seen it, because I was afraid of exactly what you're describing, Phil, because everybody said that M. Night Shyamalan thing was such a disaster that I was afraid that it was going to put me off of the entire thing forever, and I didn't want that, so I didn't go see it, and I still haven't watched it, even if it's available somewhere. I think it's got like a single-digit score on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, that's how bad it was. So yeah, I kind of shied away from that. But yeah, Korra is real good. Korra takes place in like more, it's more modern, but it's like kind of like the 30s and 40s kind of a situation, where there are cars and radios and stuff, but not like cell phones. So not like completely present day modern, but like, you know, more modern than the Aang era. And so like Katara is an old lady. And yeah, so if you liked the one with Aang, you probably would like Korra, I think. Because I love them both. So that is my 100% completely biased opinion. Bloop. And you get to what's kind of cool about the Korra series is that you get a little bit more of an inside look, like a background, an origin story, if you will, of the concept of the Avatar and like how that all came to be. How did the Avatar start and why and all that stuff. So it's pretty cool. I love it. I think it's good. Uncle Iroh shows up briefly. And yeah, which, I mean, I think we can all agree that Uncle Iroh is the best. One of the best characters in anything ever. I love Uncle Iroh. Unabashedly, unapologetically, love me some Uncle Iroh. Yeah. That always makes me sad that, like, people can be so mean that they just, like, get, like you say, with Jake Lloyd. I mean, he got driven away from all of that by people being cruel to him. So that was probably a really good choice for that kid. I don't even know his name, so that's good. I guess, M. Night Shyamalan mostly is taking the brunt of the abuse for that movie, but he's probably used to it now because, like, Unbreakable and Sixth Sense were just, mind-blowingly good. And then everybody expected that level from him all the time. And now it's kind of the opposite, right? Like, we almost feel like if M. Night Shyamalan makes a good movie, it's probably by accident. At least that's my my interpretation. Because yeah, it almost seems like his first two successes right out of the gate were kind of flukes and like not very repeatable, shall we say. I have here. I'm so clumsy. Okay. There we go. That's better, right? It's a bit better. It pointed right at me. Here we go. Well, hi, Chuck. Been bragging on you for a little bit here. We should leave soon. Okay. How soon is soon? Like, do I need to log off of here and start cleaning up like right now, or Thank you. Hub's always looking out for me. How long does cleanup take? It shouldn't take very long today, because I didn't throw, so I don't have to like, sponge everything down and hose everything off. It's really, today's cleanup is really a matter of like just taking the splash pans and tossing all, like probably all, most of the clay that's in it at this point can probably just be thrown directly into our little reclaim box over there, because it's nice and dry. So it shouldn't really take me very long, hopefully. Oh, see, Lucky Phil, I never thought about it that way. That is a good point. I have been really worried about making handles taller than the top of the mug because I felt like it made it more difficult for them to fit in the cabinet. But then, my handles always kind of end up that way because I don't know, I just kind of like this shape. And that's the way that shape ends up lending itself. So that's a good point. I like that. Be like, yeah, they're easier to dry after you wash them because they don't sit flat and trap the air and therefore the water up in them. So they're easier to drain dry. That's what I'm going with. What's interesting is I get so fussed about stuff like this and I forget that, like, a good glazing will often cover up multitudes of sins. So I don't really need to be this worried about this, but I like to do a good job of things. I don't like to do things crappy.
Sweetness.
Hey, so I asked you when you said in the thing.
Oh, I didn't have the sound on my phone.
Oh, so yeah, how soon is soon? Like I need to drop this right now and clean up, or?
Probably a good idea.
Okay, can I finish this one?
Of course you can. I just figured since Julia's meeting us there.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I mean, if you want to help me clean up.
I was going to start getting the food that we're bringing ready.
Okay.
And all that.
And throw yawn spores all over me?
I don't know what to tell you. I got up early in the morning and rode my bike.
I know that you did. I was there. Yeah. A good glazing can come from a multitude of sins. No, it can cover a multitude of sins. Did I say that? Did I say it can come from? That's funny. Do you have thoughts about when you're going to throw more of them? Oh, he's outside with the puppies, so he can't hear me. Oh, well. wants you to tell her she's a good girl for peeing outside.
I did.
Um,
Come on, this way. This way.
when do you think you're gonna throw more of these, honey? Or have you thought about it?
Probably tomorrow or Monday.
Okay. Cool.
When do you think this dog is gonna get his butt in here? There we go. 3 times I have to turn the light out.
Oh. Oh, lucky Phil. Yeah. I made the mistake one time of looking something up on Urban Dictionary. And actually, I don't even think I was looking it up. I think I was just kind of poking around on Urban Dictionary because it was funny. And I came across something that was just mighty, mighty disturbing. I was like, why did somebody even come up with this activity, and why did they give it a name? Like how like why? What? Yeah, and it was horrifying, and I'm not going to say it here because it was one of the most horrible things I've ever read. It was disgusting and disturbing to the point where when I learned about it, it was like right before I took my kids to see Zootopia, and I still don't like watching or even thinking about Zootopia as a movie because my brain associated those two things, and I have tried to, block it out and not think about it. And yeah, so even though Zootopia is a perfectly lovely little movie, I just there's part of me that kind of winces and cringes at the thought of it because this accidental association happened in my brain. Which is how the game originated. Are you guys old enough to remember the game? Like, I just lost the game kind of thing. No, not the movie. Or you love Zootopia? Oh, the game. No, I was talking about the actual game, the game. So there was a thing back in the mid to late 90s called the game. And everyone is always playing the game. They just, whether they know it or not, every person everywhere is playing the game. When you think about the game, you lose. And you therefore have to declare out loud, I just lost the game. And then, therefore, everyone around you who hears you say that also lost the game. So, yeah, it became a bit of a meme, bit of a cultural phenom, if you will. But it's basically about like how your brain will create associations that with things that have nothing to do with each other. So yeah, it was a big deal for a long time, and it was like, oh, I just lost the game. People were like, you made me lose the game. My kids actually really liked it when I did it with them. I think they cheated a lot though. I think they would think about the game and not announce. but it got old after a while, as you can imagine. So it sort of died out a little bit, which ironically means more people winning the game a lot more often. Speaking of, do you guys play the coffee golf thing? And post on the Discord thing? I got a hole in one this morning. I was very proud. I was like, shit, that'll never happen again. I'm posting that. It was on the first hole too, so it was like it was a little intimidating because it was like, oh man, it was on the first hole. So now if I screw up the whole rest of the course, I'm going to feel really bad because the whole rest of my score is going to be shitty. Oh, but I got this hole in one, you know? Yeah, it's kind of that. It's very similar to that. The whole not it thing. Okay, guys. Well, I have to get going because we're meeting my daughter over at the pottery studio. So I'm going to say goodbye. But I feel like this was pretty good progress here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mugs done. This one's most of the way done. I think I still want to clean up the base of this one a little bit more, but that's fine. I'll put it back in the damp box and it'll be fine. It'll be just fine. It'll be fine. Some of these, once this is dried, some of this roughness, I can sand off a little bit of that. I wish it wasn't quite so bumpy. There's a bit of a bumpy up there, but it's okay. It'll be fine. But thanks for hanging out with me. That kind of made the time go by a little better, especially since my phone ran out of power and I wouldn't have had music much longer. So it's good to see you guys. Oh my God, it's been an hour and a half already. Well, geez. Okay. This was a decent length of time for a stream anyway. Bye. Y'all have a good day, good evening there, Lucky Phil. And I'll see you guys again.